Welcome to another Women and Its series. It is the Tobo Sigwe, Decolonial. Today I want to discuss a very important topic that I think everybody, whether you are Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Africa, Bantu, Zulu, needs to listen. The title of my teaching today is what? Ordinana Masterclass. I call it Ordinana Masterclass. It's a kind of a history lesson, a history class. But before I proceed, I want to remind us of Afiolo Extra this year, the festival. Make your time, make your preparation to be in this year's Afiolo. See the flyers on the screen and see how the event is going to be so that you plan towards attending either one or all of the events. Thank you. Ordinana Masterclass. I'm starting this teaching with a quote. Those who are instructed in the English language are taught by those from whom they have received their training that all native institutions are in their character darkness. All native institutions are in their character darkness and depravity, and in their effects only evil, and evil continually. The Christianized Negro looks away from his native heath. He is under the curse of an insatiable ambition for imitation of foreign ideas and foreign customs. The quote continues, Africans' own experience and achievement could teach nothing. It was only evil and evil continually. End of quote. Now, the above quote is an extract from a letter written in 1900, as the beginning of the 20th century, by an Afro-Caribbean diplomat and civil servant by name Edward Wilmot Blyden. This letter underscores graphically the thinking and subsequent actions of the white man immediately after the Berlin Conference that partitioned Africa. For those of us who have not read about the Berlin Conference, you need to read up the Berlin Conference. Berlin Conference simply is a conference where they took the decision on how Africa was going to be what? Partitioned. Africa was shared at Berlin Conference. The Britain got some part of Africa, France got some part of Africa, Portuguese got some part of Africa, Belgium got some part of Africa, I think Germany also got some part of Africa, and which other European country again? Yeah, these are, I think Spain got another part of Africa. The Berlin Conference was where Africa was what? Partitioned, and these European nations moved into Africa to take over their what? Position, and they came with this mindset that Africa was what? Darkness, that there was nothing good in Africa, that Africa was what? Filled with what? Depravity. There is nothing good, that everything in Africa was what? Evil. That's minus the resources of Africa. Everything else in Africa was what? Evil. And they came with this what? Mindset. So we can see that the Europeans saw nothing good in the African way of life prior to their coming after the Berlin Conference. They were dealing with Africa before then, in business, just strictly business, but they didn't come to colonize then. But after the Berlin Conference, they came to colonize, and they came with the mindset that everything in Africa is what? Evil, minus their resources. This kind of mindset is what framed their political what? Administration, the mode of operation of their political administration, their religious indoctrination and educational establishment. The plan was to take Africa, an African man, or the Africans, from their evil culture to what? European civilization. They are taking us from this heart of darkness to what? Light, which is what? European civilization. Taking you completely from the heart of darkness, from the darkness of Africa to what? European civilization. They saw nothing but what? Darkness in Africa. For you to understand this, again, here is a quote from the founder of the Holy Ghost Fathers 1960 mission. Look at the quote. He was writing to, I think, his cousin. He said this verbatim: All those who go to Africa as missionaries must be thoroughly penetrated with the thought that the dark continent, look at the word adjective used to describe Africa, the dark world continent is a cursed land, almost entirely in the power of what? Devil. So they saw nothing good in Africa. They saw nothing good in Africa. What was the consequence of this? You can see that the colonial administrators, missionaries, and educators came to Africa with a preconceived and a misconceived. It was a preconceived and misconceived mindset of what Africa is and what it should be. And they came with the what? Preconceived mindset that they are coming as rescuers to rescue Africa from what? Darkness. It made them to be all out to destroy everything what? Africa. They destroyed Africa political administration and political evolution to replace it with theirs. They destroyed Africa's what? Spirituality to replace it with theirs. They destroyed our educational system to replace it with what? Theirs. Note, they did not come to improve what Africa was doing. They did not come to improve. They came to abolish. They came with a mindset to steal, to destroy, and to supplant anything what? Africa. They came to steal the resources, destroy African political evolution, spiritual evolution, educational evolution, and supplant it with what? The European civilization. They never saw anything good. They never said, okay, they were getting it right here. Let's help them what? Improve on this. No, this is where they were not getting it right. You guys should do away with this one. No, but they came with the mindset that everything Africa was what? Evil and bad. Today, the consequent result of this destruction in Africa is what? Many Africans are still sticking to the dangerous heart of darkness what? Perspectives. They still believe that their ancestors were what? Evil and what? Devilish, demonic. I want to show an illustrative example of the impact of this kind of thinking in Africa. Some of our Africans always compare why is European so civilized and Africa is not civilized. The answer is simple. The European civilization was not tampered with. Even Chinese civilization was not tampered with. Japanese civilization was not tampered with. Their evolution was not what? Tampered with. They learned some certain things from those who are more civilized than them and engrafted it into their own evolution. But African civilization, our own political evolution, our own cultural evolution, our own administrative evolution, our own occupational evolution was totally what? Tampered with. It was destroyed. Come with me. I want to show you a practical example. Ndị be anyị sị now, a na-egosi nwata awọ n'ikpo nkume, a na-atụrụ ya aka. A na-egosi nwata awọ n'ikpo nkume, a na-atụrụ ya aka. Now, this is a tree stump. Consider this tree. This is a mango tree. This particular tree is what? A mango tree. Consider this tree what? African. Consider it what? Africa. Or an African nation state in its what? Evolution. Developing in its natural state. In its what? Natural state. Evolving. Growing. And what? The Europeans came and felt that this tree what? They loved where this tree is. But they felt that this tree was not what? Growing well. They didn't like the fruit of the tree. And what did they do? They decided to cut it off. They decided to do what? Cut it off. In their thinking, the tree was yielding bad fruits. And they decided to what? Cut it off and supplant it with a new tree. They didn't try to say, okay, how can we treat some of the diseases? Is there any way we can treat treat this tree so that all its fruits will be what? Good. No. They decided to cut it off and plant a new tree on top of this stump. Now, this is the problem with Africa. Their evolution was what? Severed. Anybody with a little history of agriculture will know that there is no possibility for you to plant a new tree on top of the tree stump. It will not work. Because people will keep asking why, what is the problem with Africa? The problem with Africa is that its evolution was tampered with and they are trying to build a new thing on top of the tree stump. It's not going to work. The only solution to this problem is that you plant a new mango tree. Because once it's not mango, it's not mango. You plant a new mango tree, or you allow this mango tree to do what? Regenerate, to grow back. That's the only solution. So the European civilization that they try to put in this heart of darkness has failed woefully. Look around Africa. It's failing. The political administration they brought is failing. The religious indoctrination they brought is failing. The what? Educational system is what? Failing. Because you tampered with a natural evolution of a particular thing, of a particular natural tree. This is the problem with Africa. The white man came and did what? Cut it off. And they tried to build something on top of this. They created their own tree that they have that is unique to them on top of this. Now, we have African leaders still trying to hold this fake tree. Still trying to do what? Hold this fake tree that they brought. Instead of them discarding it in total and allowing this thing to grow again from its natural state, or plant a new mango tree, because that's the only way a mango tree can successfully come out. We cannot be anything. An African man cannot be anything apart from Africa. What makes you Africa is already engineered inside your DNA. You cannot be anything outside an Africa. You can imitate other people, but you cannot be like them. You can only be yourself, and it's the only way you are true to your own self. Man, know thyself. You become the best version of yourself. So our evolution has been tampered with. What are we going to do? Are we going to keep holding on to that fake tree? Let me call it an apple tree on top of the mango stump. Or do we discard the apple tree and allow this mango stump to grow a new tree out of its what? Roots, shoots. Is left to us. This is why I've called this Ordinary Masterclass. It's a history lesson. We want to get it right in Africa. Then we must allow ourselves to evolve from our natural state. Where we tampered with, this is what Shibbo and Shede said, that we must go back to where the rain started to beat us. The rain started to beat us, immediately they cut off this tree. We must go back to our natural state and start growing back our own system from its natural state. Start evolving it back again from its natural state. And that's when we'll get it right in our political administration, in our spiritual, free ourselves from this spiritual colonization, and go back to our true spirituality as Africans. And go back to our what? Native education. And start what? Helping it out in its evolution. We can add the modern things we learn from others into our own system, not removing our own system to put it. This is what other nations did. People like Indians, Japan, Chinese. They didn't try to do what? Destroy their own evolution. Rather, they see what they can learn from others who are more civilized than them and put it in their own what? Evolution. That's why their evolution is real, is genuine, is different, is unique to them. And this is why Africa is suffering today. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share. I would like to hear from some of you. If you have any question, please, you can reach me through the number on the screen, or my email address, or my other social media handles. Thank you. Thank you.